Hi there, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. I'm Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Valaverse Action Force, the Bone Collector. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, follow the channel. I appreciate it. It all helps with the algorithm of growing the channel. So, anyway, let's get right into this figure. This is now the fifth figure that I'm looking at of the line. The only one I won't be looking at is the Swarm figure, at least not yet, because I don't have it in hand. I'll reiterate again, a buddy of mine lent these to me because I wanted to see them before I went ahead and ordered them to see if they were worth ordering. And again, everything that I've seen on the internet seems to be praising, like there's nothing wrong with these. And now I'm starting to see the backlash of people bashing it. So I want to open an honest review of these. That's what I want to give to you guys and everyone else that watches this, because we're talking about a $32 figure, sight unseen, compared to a $20 at the time, $23 now. G.I. Joe Classified or Marvel Legends, different things like that. So let's take a quick look at the figure. And here's the front of the box. And normally you would see the figure in the window, but I have them taken out already. It tells you Action Force, the Bone Collector. Side of it, so the Action Force, they all look the same. Again, kind of like the G.I. Joe Classified. Gives you some artwork of the figure. What I do like about these is that it seems like the same artist did all of them. So everything is uniformed. That is extremely nice, and I do like that. And then we have the back, and honestly, I think this is where the box shines. And you have your panels. There's 6 figures in wave 1, and then you have the file card. Again, I'm not going to read the file card, because I really don't know much about these figures, although I did read about the 2 villains, Bone Collector and Kerrig. And I actually think they're kind of cool. And I'll say this, as I get to the last video, I'm actually starting to like these figures a little more, but they still aren't perfect. And then you have your Action Force points, which again are like flag points, and anyone that's 46 like myself is going to remember the G.I. Joe flag points, which I think is a wonderful idea. What he's going to be able to give us, that I don't know, like what we're going to use them for, who knows. Just seeing them on there, seeing the filed card, and yes, they made it look a little bit different than G.I. Joe, but again, it fits, and of course, who doesn't love that? So, we're going to take a look at this figure here. And this is the Bone Collector. And I will reiterate this again. All 5 figures need to be soaked in hot water. This is not what I heard on the internet. And this is, honestly, this is one of the biggest things that I think is the negative. It's the positive thing that I'm hearing on the YouTube channels that I think is a negative, because we're giving the wrong impression. These things need to be soaked in water. These are not mine. They were already open when my buddy lent them to me, and he had the same issue. He was scared these were going to break. It seems to me that this joint here seems to have been fine, but the second one here, again, is extremely tight, and they're all like that. They all seem to be fine at that joint, but this one here, it almost felt like they were going to break. And the same with when we got to the elbows. So they were the same way. That one bent up fine. The other one didn't seem to bend all that well. That was the biggest scare, along with popping out the hands. And let me just explain. I've seen someone break this once, and it seems like I can see why a lot of people would when you're popping out the hands. This is a much stiffer plastic, but unfortunately with the stiffer plastic, there's a good chance that you're going to break. So these things have to be heated up. And if you want to articulate them, move up and down, you're going to have to soak all 8 hands. All right? This thing comes with a boatload of hands. Again, not the end of the world, because you do it with your NECA figures. But for the most part, when people are railing on how you don't need to do this, it's not true. So don't just open this figure and think it's going to be, bent up. Again, these weren't just opened up being cold. They were already open once. The owner, he was actually worried to bend it. I soaked him in water. which he didn't have a problem with, and he knew what I was going to be doing. So, again, here's your bone collector. Quick look at him here. The view with my ugly mug in it. This guy's mask. The mask fits on nicely. Comes with his pistol and his holster. Again, all these holsters for each handgun are different. All right. So they're all individually set. On the side here, he has his pouches for his clips. He comes with his 203. I think it's some sort of M4, or I'm not sure exactly which one it is. And they come with their Action Force stand and hands galore, which are nice. So let's quickly take a look at them. We'll compare them to the G.I. Joe Classified, and you guys can make your decision on whether or not you want to invest $32 into these figures. All right, here we go. Again, side of the box, the Bone Collector. Again, real nice artwork. They all fit nicely together, so if you want to display it, this is how he was giving it to me. This guy is not an inbox collector, as you can tell. So there you have the back file card, and you have your line of wave 1, your 6 figures, and your file card, your action points. So again, Action Force inside, real nice. And it comes with your Action Force stand. It has 4 pegs, and it has a slit back here. So if you cut out the file card, you can place it behind them. I really do like that. Now let's get to the issue I have, and that is the holes in their feet. And once again, I will do it here. This is a thicker plastic, or not thicker, a harder plastic, and they don't fit well. All right. Now I didn't try this after it was heated, but I know that I just struggled to get that on there. All right. And just so we understand that it's not the stand, I've compared it to another stand, and I have the same problem putting all 5 figures on this. Take Beachhead, boom, and he goes on there perfectly. So that is one thing that I believe that needs to be changed there, needs to be modified, is that the holes on the bottom here are just too small. And hell, if you look at them here, you can almost tell. This is a hexagon, go figure, hexagon. And they seem to fit perfect. And I guess while we're looking at it, you can see there's wonderful detail in the boot, but I'm not too concerned with the bottom of the foot. All right, so once again, you get these figures, soak them in hot water about a minute. People say they can use a blow dryer or a heat gun. I don't use that. I've never done that, but that's just my opinion. I think it's easiest to soak them in hot water, bend all the joints, and then you should be good. But these are still pretty tight. So we'll quickly look at here. And what I have on here is the trigger finger and then the cupped hand for holding, which I will once again reiterate. I think this is the best hand option that I think all military figures that have rifles should have. Absolutely wonderful. As you can see, they're holding it, and unlike classified figure where they're just always bent with a trigger finger and I have to bend them out, now this is softer plastic, not as hard, but it'd be nice to have something like this. So what do we have with these? He comes with 2 fists, his thumb wrestling hand, he has 2 of them, one's in this bag here, 2 trigger fingers, and the cupped hand for holding. So if you want to make a lefty, you can. If you want to make a righty, you can. That I absolutely do love. So he comes with his Bone Collector mask. Has something to do with how he was. And there is our Lex Luthor. I'm just kidding. Though he does look like Lex. Come on, that looks like Lex Luthor. Alright. The gun. This was a gripe that I had with the guns. I'm not really going to gripe too much. They are very hard guns, and we've seen people snap these. Now, I can tell you from when I got the prototype pack, and I will show you when I do the review later on today. With the other guns, I dropped, or it fell, the grenade launcher, and it snapped the handle off. Not with the figure holding it, it just fell, hit the ground, snapped right off. So they are very brittle. They can snap if you're not watching what you're doing. But there is a little bit of give, but let's just be honest. Take your time. Be careful with it, because these things will break. Here we have magazines. And on this one, they do come out. So you have that, and then he has 2 extra magazines that come with the figure, which they do slide out. So, not the easiest thing to slide out. There you go. So they do slide out. What is nice is that not only this, along with his sidearm, you can hold them upside down. You're not going to have to worry about them falling out like some other figures that we've seen in the past. And again, they're a little bit harder to get out, but these aren't, I don't think you really see a lot of kids playing with this. Not saying kids can't. Then we have his sidearm. I really do like the sidearm. Oh, wait a minute. So that's what I was trying to get at. So these are nice. They are brittle. The one thing that I did notice is some of them seem fairly large when you're using them with G.I. Joe Classified. Even with these figures, they seem a little large at times. These are almost all the exact same height, and I'll get into that in a minute. So depending on what figure you use it on, if you try and use it on any of the females, not going to work. That is for sure. This gun seems absolutely huge, but I'll show you. The one thing I do like is when you do put these in here, they seem to fit pretty well. They go in easier than any of the G.I. Joe Classified. I don't want to say any of them, but most of the G.I. Joe Classified, when I try and put the trigger finger in, their hands seem to go in really well. I don't know if it's just how they're sculpted, if you did it on purpose, if it was an accident, but either way, they go real nice. All right, and then on the back, he has his blade. So what I do kind of like about this, what I really do like about this, is they took time and they painted the end silver. I really didn't go into that, and I should have. And here's like the carry weapon. They did the same thing. They took time and they painted the silver, the handle. You know, obviously his gun, you know, has little paint apps to it, and I really do like that. It shows a lot of attention to detail. I know with Major Blood and his sidearm, they did the same thing, but for the most part, a lot of the G.I. Joe Classified, I can't think of too many that they were actually doing it. All right, so let's get to another issue, and I heard someone else talk about this, and unfortunately, what he said didn't work. So, as you can see, the vest snaps. Now, this is supposed to be nice because, unlike G.I. Joe Classified, they don't come off. All right, you pretty much have to take the figure apart and get this off. I guess that's all great. I don't really want to take it off too much, but it's nice to have that option. The issue is they have these little mushrooms, and they need to clip in. So, with Condor here, all right, I popped it off, and I heated up, and when I took it off Condor, I was able to get it in. Did it a couple times, hoping that it would kind of loosen. Had no luck. I did what they said. Tried using tweezers. Someone also suggested using needle nose pliers without any grips on it, so it doesn't leave any marks. I didn't try that because these aren't my figures. I wasn't able to get this on. So hopefully this gets modified, because this hole is way too small for this little, for this little grip. So you're kind of seeing maybe this is one of the things that he wanted to address, was fixing the hole problem here, the peg problem on the bottom. So this figure here, again, you can take this off, then you have a true Lex Luthor. Honestly, I just realized he's Lex Luthor. So I'm going to quickly look at his face, and this one is not all that bad, but the one thing that I don't like about their faces, and it's only him, Carrig, and Condor, is what they say a lot of times is less is more. And I think they put too much paint apps on here, that the face just kind of looks glossy, and I really don't like it. And I will say this, I was looking at Condor on his Instagram before they sent the figures out, the prototypes, and I thought the face actually looked better. And when I look at Sergeant Slaughter, I don't think they use nearly as much, but he's already ugly, so you don't need any to make him more ugly. All right, so the articulation. They've all have pinless joints. Elbows go up to about here. They do have the butterfly, but with the big vests on, you get the same issue as you do with classified. You can't really cross your body to use a rifle like you would want to. All right? This is going to be in the way. These are big and bulky. Knees, again, here, double jointed. Because every single one of these figures has straps right here. This does block having him go up any further. But again, I'm able to get him into positions that you really don't need to worry about getting any further. Yes, if you really wanted to, you could take that off. They do have the ankle rockers. They have the drop down hips. Again, they're tight, so I don't want to pull it too much. I feel like I'm going to snap his leg off, or not even snap it, just pull it off. And their waists, you know, not bad. They don't turn all the way around, which is fine because your body doesn't really turn around. So let's get to a couple things that I'm going to show you, because we're going to, once again, get to this $32 figure. Comes with all the accessories. It was a $20 figure at the time, $23 now. And that's what a lot of people are comparing, all the stuff you get. But the one thing that I noticed is that the body here is the exact same body as their generic figure, along with Condor, and along with Steel Brigade. So the bodies are the exact same. The crotches are all the same between these 5 figures. Same knees, same legs. Boots are different, but same boots as Sergeant Slaughter. Arms are the same here. So essentially, these figures are the same, along with the same weapon that comes with Steel Brigade. I'm not complaining. I'm just pointing it out that there is a lot of reuse between these figures. And it's not something I heard, to be honest. No one really talked about that. And I'm not complaining because my bread and butter is still the G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe Classified and just G.I. Joe in general. And I've said in every video, it's not so much a gripe as much of a point, because you look here at Beachhead and he shares parts with Cobra Trooper, Duke, Flint, Major Blood. All these figures share a lot of the same parts, but due to paint apps, due to the weapons they put on here, the vests, it's hard to tell. They do the same thing here. I think a lot of people just didn't even notice, especially with the vests on, but this is the exact same as the base figure. This body mold is the same as Condor, base figure. So that's really it. I just want to kind of point that out. And let's wrap this up. All right, so there you have it. That's my review of the Bone Collector from Action Force. I'm going to be honest. When I first saw these figures, I wasn't too thrilled with them. And they're still not perfect. But going over the reviews, bending them more, just kind of putting them next to the Beachhead here. And again, just so you understand, I don't have a problem with Valaverse or anything. I've been using the prototype pack for quite some time with the G.I. Joes because, frankly, the Nerf weapons, the laser weapons were garbage. And some of these look really, really nice. Some of them seem a little too big, others seem too small. And I'll be going over the weapons pack shortly. But this is a nice figure. And originally what I was looking at was the heroes. Condor, Steel Brigade, and Sergeant Slaughter, which I don't like Sergeant Slaughter, so I won't be ordering him, because I don't plan on it, to go with the G.I. Joes. And the more I read more about this, I gotta say, I know nothing about their comic and everything, but you could really do another sub-faction that would be going against G.I. Joe with these figures. The question is, do you want to spend $32 for these figures or $22 for a base figure that only comes with hands and a couple faces? Then you have to buy additional weapons and packs for it. That's up to you. But my whole goal was, when I asked my buddy about these, because I knew he was getting them if I could see them, he said, hey, why don't you do a review on it? Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. You don't mind. And I wanted to give an honest review to everyone about how these figures are, because I don't think we've seen too many honest reviews out there. I think what we've seen is a lot of guys that are friends with the owner. And the thing about Bobby Vala, from what I can tell, I don't know the guy, is he came from Hasbro, came from other marketing of toys, toy designer, and he's part of the community. So I think a lot of people don't want to insult him, because this is a guy that's in the community that's also now a toy maker. And I think a lot of people don't want to insult him. And to me, you're not insulting him. And I don't think he would take it that way, honest. Just watching a lot of his videos and stuff, you're giving constructive criticism. Don't tell me this is a perfect figure, and he's not. So I don't want people saying, like, hey, he said right from, a video I recently watched, hey, you know what? There are things that I'm already changing about waves 2A and 2B. And that's good, because he knows there's no such thing as a perfect figure. But it seems like a lot of people on these that are doing reviews are just talking about how great it is. And, I've heard one person mention this being an issue. This is a huge issue. All right, if I can't get this on, if I have to make modifications, man, I'd rather have a beachhead that doesn't have that come off. Nice idea, but I don't think it was implemented properly. And then you want to get back to the bottom here. This bothers me because they don't fit on the stands properly. They all have backpacks, not sure how well they sit. This one seems to sit a little bit better than Carrie did. That's beachheads. But I'll be going over the backpacks shortly and loading that video. But anyway, nice looking figure. Not perfect, but by far not garbage either. So there you go. You guys decide from here on out. I hope I've done enough to give you an idea between the 5 figures that I've reviewed. If you think they're going to be worth your money, you can still order these at Valaverse.com. I know he has Wave 1 up for order right now. And Big Bad Toy Store hasn't received their shipment, so they are still taking pre-orders for them. So as soon as they get them, I'm assuming, if you ordered them, you'll start getting them. The other place that I know about it had Dorkside, but I believe all theirs went out. I'm not sure if they ordered extra, because all that's on there is like a pack of weapons, I think, and maybe the backpack accessory. I'm not sure. So anyway, there you go. That's your review of the Bone Collector from Action Force. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. Follow the channel. I appreciate it. Instagram, A Punk with Toys. I'll be posting toys there, obviously. My reviews when they come up. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here so I can wrap this up and finish up the weapons. I've done a lot of Valaverse in the past 3 days. So anyway, have a great day and happy toy hunting.